You are standing by a river. It's moving, steady, certain, and then something interrupts it. A rock. For a moment, the water gathers, as if deciding what to do next. And then it doesn't stop. It adjusts, finds a way, moves around it, and continues. Welcome to Regulate and Rise with Khyati Arlaga. Today, let's look at something we all face: obstacles. But more importantly, what we decide when we meet them. Because the river never treats the rock as the end. But somewhere along the way, we learn to. We meet something unexpected, and instead of adjusting, we pause. Think about this. Someone begins building something they care about, not casually, something that feels like them. They show up in between responsibilities, late at night, early in the morning, small, consistent effort. And for a while, it works until it doesn't. Life doesn't pause. Work continues. Expectations remain. People depend on them. Energy gets divided. Consistency breaks. Progress slows. And then comes the pause. I'll come back to this. Maybe later. This isn't the right time. They don't quit, but they stop. And this is where it quietly changes. It wasn't failure, it was trying to hold everything together while still trying to build something new. The path didn't disappear, it just became harder to walk. And instead of changing the way forward, they stepped out of it. And this pattern doesn't stay in one place. A conversation becomes uncomfortable, so you don't return to it. A routine breaks once, so it never restarts. A plan shifts, so you stop moving toward it. The obstacle is real, but the meaning we give it is what decides whether we move. Because the river meets resistance too. It doesn't deny it, it doesn't force its way through it. It responds. It doesn't ask, why is this happening? It moves with it. Where else can I go from here? But we do something else. We meet one obstacle and turn it into a conclusion. This isn't working. This is not for me. This is too difficult. And once that meaning settles, movement stops. But what if the obstacle was never asking you to stop? What if it was asking you to move differently? Because forward is not always straight. Sometimes it bends. Sometimes it slows. Sometimes it looks nothing like you imagined. but it still moves. So today, notice one place in your life where you paused, not because there is no path, but because the first path didn't work. Ask yourself, did I stop because I couldn't move? Or because I decided this was the end? You don't need to remove the rock. You don't need to force your way through it. But you need to stop treating it like the end. Because movement is not about perfection. It is about continuation. The river doesn't stop at the rock. It changes how it moves. It becomes more aware of its path, more responsive, more precise. And over time, what once looked like an obstacle becomes part of its direction. Maybe this was never the end. Maybe this was the point where your path was meant to change. The river doesn't stop at the rock. It learns from it. And so can you. This is how we regulate, and this is how we rise.